This video is sponsored by Whale Street, a new decentralized token swap protocol running on Ethereum. Now, Whale Street is designed in particular to allow people to swap very large amounts of tokens, but it has a sort of gamified NFT based structure around it. I'm not going to go through this entire blog post, as you can see. I'm just going to head to the summary. And so what Whale Street is designed to do is allow people to make massive currency swaps without crashing the system. It has a token called LST, and if you contribute to the liquidity, you earn this shrimp token, which is both of these are ERC20 tokens. Shrimp token is a kind of reward token, but you need the shrimp token as well to bid for and buy NFTs. And the NFTs are what allow you to make a swap. If you have the NFT, you become a swap master. You set the terms of the whale swap, what tokens to swap and when, and also the percentage of the fee you get. Everyone is rewarded in shrimp for the process that goes on here. As I say, this is super interesting, rather complicated. I suggest if you're interested, you go and check the blog post. But thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World Daily with me, John Jordan. So the news we've got today is that 9 Genesis Land NFTs in AXIE Infinity have been sold for $1.5 million, actually 888 ETH, but that's the dollar price. So this is kind of interesting in many ways. Obviously, the headlines are all about this is the biggest NFT sale ever, and in terms of kind of single transactions, I guess even me with my cynical hat on have to kind of agree. I guess you could kind of argue that this is actually 9 Genesis plots, so you should really divide it by 9 to get the individual NFT price, but I guess that's kind of splitting hairs a little bit. I guess what's interesting about this, so here, this is this guy, or presume it's a guy, Flying Falcon, it's Falcon Time Twitter account. So just doing a little, a kind of a list on a thread on why he or it bought these properties. So this map here is the whole of AXIE Infinity, and the red area is kind of the center point. No one can own that. It's owned by I guess the developers. Probably we'll go over to a DAO at some point. So the confusing thing here is these squares are not all plots. So actually these Genesis plots are these plots that are in black, kind of around the outside of the center plot. So there's actually 220 of these. So you can see here, Flying Falcon has bought this line here. Is actually 9. That's 9 plots together. So what's interesting about this kind of purchase is that it was done as a bundle, and these are 9 what we call contiguous, I guess, NFTs. So they're all, the land is all together. So you could buy 9 of these NFTs and they could be spread all around. But this is 9 as a block. And obviously, when it comes to land, that bundling things together in a contiguous manner is obviously makes them much more valuable than having them spread around. I guess another thing that's interesting about this is we have had some very expensive NFT sales. So Gala Games and what they called Polyant Games, who are an investment company, really did a deal for $800,000, and that was for like the banking system in Gala's new game. Mirandus, my head's up with it today. So they did that kind of sale, but that was like a kind of like an investment to some degree, and it kind of was it was between 2 companies really. It wasn't a peer-to-peer sale. So it was the developer, Gala Games, owned this kind of, it was actually a bank, Citadel, which is the banking system, and they sold it to this other kind of company, which wasn't an individual. It was a kind of obviously an organisation, a group of people. So at one point that was seen as the most expensive NFT, although I was never very sure about that because it sort of had a different model going on there, I think. Whereas this is clearly interesting because this is well, it doesn't say here actually, but this is a sale between 2 individuals, or at least 2 kind of wallets. Now, it does kind of get confusing when we talk about these kind of crypto whales. So these are individuals who have large amounts of kind of crypto value and are going around buying up, large amounts of NFTs, and now they're kind of like moving on to being like organisations. So they have can put together more capital by creating a DAO or something like that. And you kind of see, I guess, with Whale Shark, famous kind of art collector, and other NFTs, and he's kind of put together his vault, which is you can kind of buy into by buying the whale coin and all this. So there's more complicated stuff going on than just kind of individuals sitting in their bedrooms buying this sort of stuff. But what's interesting is this is a peer-to-peer trade. So this is something that has there may have been some kind of communications behind the scenes. I don't think these were just on OpenSea and someone went off and bought them. I'm sure there was some communication about this, and obviously what one selling is one buying. So the price is worked out between those two. I guess what's interesting in terms of at least AXIE Infinity, which has seen some pretty high sales of its AXIE characters. So I think we saw 300 ETH as the most expensive last year. But obviously, this, as I say, these are contiguous, but there are another, I think, 211 around the outside. So if you're pricing 9 of these at 1.5 million, then you're basically timesing it by, you're getting up to, can't do the maths, 20, you're getting up to, like, if all these sell at the same price, you're getting up to 30 million just for these Genesis plots. So that's quite an aggressive kind of pricing mechanic. Now, obviously, if you were gonna, if you think an equivalent would be buying into like Clash of Clans or something like that, a game very early in mobile free to play that went on to produce $1 billion of well over $1 billion, probably $2 billion of revenue now, and still continuing. Then that kind of thing seems cheap, but it's not very clear to me, at least, that blockchain games are going to be as mass market as some of the big free to play mobile games, which are obviously all about being free to play and accessing tens, hundreds of millions of players. I'm not saying this deal is over egged at all, but it is a kind of, I think it's an interesting deal, considering that there are. If these were the only 9 kind of plots, then maybe that would be would seem like a bit more of a kind of a less aggressive deal, at least. But there's 220, so obviously everyone now who owns these ones I'm sure some people are looking to do similar deals because these things are now clearly very valuable. And there are this is all other land as well. So all this is individual plots of land. It's broken down into small areas. And as far as I remember, these pink areas are kind of special areas where stuff happens. I mean, one of the reasons for the Genesis plots to be so expensive is they're right next to this main plot. And there's things going to be happening on there, so they're kind of event spots that people can potentially kind of earn revenue from, that sort of thing. So the ownership is not just the ownership, the flat ownership. The ownership is an active ownership, a dynamic ownership of doing things on there. And we see that obviously in stuff like Sandbox, Decentraland, all those kind of more land-based metaverses. But pretty much every blockchain game is now having a land component. So there's going to be lots of kind of interesting kind of pricing, I guess, valuation pressure around games and land, and obviously not all of the games can fulfil the kind of the promise of what these people are paying for land. So it would be interesting to see how that plays out. But I guess we are seeing in a broad crypto bull market, we are obviously seeing people get very excited about the long-term value, and if you're buying these over 10 years, it's probably not a ridiculous amount to be spending. And obviously some people who got into certainly Ethereum or even Bitcoin very early, to spend 888 ETH is not, like, it's never peanuts, because you could use the money for something else. But these are people who maybe were involved in the first Ethereum, the first Ethereum ICO, or mined Ethereum even. So we can't really necessarily judge it on this is someone's taking $1.5 million of their value and and spending it on some NFT plots. And even that would be kind of fine if it was. I'm not suggesting that's ridiculous, but I think sometimes we just have to be a little bit careful that not all these deals are necessarily, certainly not all these deals will turn out to be financially sensible deals with the benefit of hindsight, clearly. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's interesting. In terms of NFTs more generally, we've got a lot going on still with CryptoPunks, which isn't a game, but we're seeing those very much quickly, very much become a investment asset that people are buying because they're going up in value and are seen to be going up in value. The cheapest one is now $10,000, and people are buying them up to make index funds, and there's a few bids out. So I think we'll certainly see the $1 million CryptoPunk in the next kind of coming probably days, certainly weeks. because already people are staking over $1 million of value. Obviously, the price of ETH keeps going up, so that makes it go higher as well. So we're seeing the very rarest of these NFTs become extremely valuable. So anyway, that is the video for today. So thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World Daily, where we take a slice of the blockchain kind of ecosystem and hopefully package it up in an interesting way. Please do subscribe to the channel if you like this stuff. But thanks for watching, and see you again soon.